right, guys, we are back for another base organization episode. And this episode may be a little bit quick, but basically, what you need to factor in, the first thing you need to factor in when you're thinking about workflow is you need to know where in your base are you going to be entering. If you are not with a family, that is going to be the top. And so that's where you need to put your chests. Your dump chests, it's good to have a few chests that you try to keep empty, and that if you're in a rush, you can just dump everything there. And then when it gets full, so those of you who are unorganized like me, you really want to have like a whole room full of dump chests. And when it gets full, you have to say, okay, I'm going to organize. But you have to stay pure over here if you're going to stay organized. So the last two episodes, we've focused a lot on getting organized, and it takes a long time. And if you have multiple accounts like me, you might get tempted not to. It's worth it. But I don't have dump chests, and so I've been using this chest right below my character right now as a dump chest. Don't do that, because then it gets easy to be like, oh, I'll just dump something in this chest right here. You have one spot that you have a dump chest. Now, in this case, I'm attached to the right side of the family, so my dump chest would be over here. And then, of course, if you're on the bottom, you need to put it on the bottom, and if you're on the left, you need to put it on the left. Having the dump chest, it really is an integral part. You'll see almost every advanced player has some type of dump chest station, and it is really important for this game, because there are times when you will not have time to organize your base. There will be times when you are just in a rush, and if you compromise your rooms, the stuff we just focused to organize, it's going to mess you up. So don't do that. Another thing you need to keep in mind is your repair table. You want your repair table to be in a place that you can put broken weapons that aren't going to get stolen, but you also might want to put the repair table in a place that your teammates can help you repair. If y'all share repair tables. If you don't, it's not a big deal. The reason for that is because the repair table is, it's 24 hours, and unless you get on the same time every day, it's helpful to have a friend. Basically, it's kind of, if you have someone in your clan or in your family that always gets on the same time every day and isn't kind of inconsistent, then they're the people that I personally think you should make your repair person. And everyone can help by putting a chest next to the repair table with almost broken weapons. But the repair guy is the person who's going to be like, putting them in there. And you can see that a lot of the stuff has been repaired by Florida, my repair guy. And so then I need to take it out and put some new broken items in here so that he can, keep it going. And so he'll have all 4 repair tables going at the same time. It's not much extra work for someone who's already getting on each day, so you're not really burdening them. But then, of course, you got to actually put the stuff away where it belongs, and that's not always easy. Sometimes it can feel like, oh, I'm just gonna throw this in here real quick, and you really don't want to do that. You don't have to stay perfectly organized, but you don't want to have this is my dump chest. You don't want to have this. This is not good, okay? So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to move this over here because it's my dump chest, okay? And because I'm using it as a dump chest, I need to get it out of my base. It will defile the base. Don't let it do that. So as far as workflow, the best thing to do, especially if you're new to the game, is to get your workbenches kind of in the cycle. And so there's a few workbenches that kind of work together. And this is probably obvious to some of you guys. So if it is, then this might be an episode to skip, or you might still learn some things. So you'll notice the fireplace is close to my woodworking benches and my fireplaces are close to my furnace. Obviously, I should also put an advanced smelter. Where is my advanced smelter, actually? These things can kind of be on their own. Do I not have an advanced smelter on this account? Wow. Okay, I need to build an advanced smelter. Okay, they won't let me do it right now. So I'm just going to I'm going to tell you what to do. Woodworking benches are the most important to keep next to your entrance, because you're going to come in, you need to keep them running all the time. And so as you have wood, you just want to keep your woodworking benches full all the time. There are so many players out there that need planks. If you are so good at getting planks that you have too many, you can trade those planks for straight up points to get level 4 classes. Okay, don't ever, if you are especially if you're a free-to-play player, but even if you're not a free-to-play player, if you are an active player, you should never, in my opinion, not have your woodworking benches going. Those of you who watch my episodes see that I'm not practicing what I am preaching right now, but do it. Like, it is worth it. People run out of wood all the time. Wood is so important in this game. You will always find, unless you have 4 massives of planks, your woodworking benches should never stop running. And they should just constantly be making more planks. And when you get those 4 massives of planks, go on the trade server and trade, because you will make so much money. And because it's just time. And pay to win players can't buy planks, or they can, but it's expensive per plank. They'll buy it for other things, like you can buy maple planks, you can buy stone blocks, but you're going to run out of planks faster. If you're buying planks, you're going to run out of planks, and you're going to have to buy more, even though you got more expensive stuff like maple. So people will spend money for your planks. So just keep it running. But then you want your fireplaces to be pretty close, because one of the things you're going to do with planks is turn it into charcoal, which those of you should know this, but just for those of you who don't know, the key is this combination right here, okay? You want coals on the bottom, planks on the top. The reason for that is each coal is going to give you 6 minutes and 40 seconds of fuel time, and then each plank is going to turn into 2 coal. So it's the most efficient way. It's like three times as efficient as doing like a wood to wood, like using wood as the fuel and wood up here. You want planks on the top, and so it's worth making. It's another reason why you want your woodworking bench to be going all the time. Then here we go. Fill this up. We'll fill that up. Okay, great. And then you're going to want to come over here and, keep your smelters going. Generally, I would say it is most important to keep iron going. Iron and planks are the bread and butter of Frostborn. You want your iron and planks to just constantly being produced. Copper is good too, but it consumes a lot of coal. But yeah, I mean, it's still worth doing, especially if you're going to go to bed that night, and you've already made a lot of iron that day. You're about to go to bed. Go ahead and, put a stack of coal in there and let it burn through and kind of work on some copper. But then most of the time you're going to want to just keep going with the iron. Okay, so let's just go into the crafting menu, and let's talk about some of these other working. The garden is, great for horses. You want to keep your gardens going as well, so that you really only need one garden, but you want to keep it going. Food in this game is not, you're going to have so much extra food. You really just need one garden, but you do want that garden to constantly be going so that you can keep your stable not constantly going. Basically, so you can always grab 20 carrots, stick it in a stable, and have the stable constantly going. because the stable is your, it's your key to horses. And you can see I don't have, well, I do. I think I do. I think I have it in my gardens. So let me go to my gardens real quick. There we go. So you really just need one garden. You just need to keep it going. Grab those 20 carrots. You shouldn't be using that carrots to make carrot stew. Don't make carrot stew. It's not worth it. All you want to be doing is keeping this thing going every 3 days. So if you're on a raid cycle, you're clicking that raid button every 3 or 4 days. You want to make sure to fill your stable each time. So having your gardens near your stables is good. I don't have that in this case, and I didn't really design my base very well to be able to do that. So workflow is not that important in every aspect. I mean, this one's every 3 days. That's not a big deal. Whereas with the woodworking benches, I mean, ideally, you'd be doing this every, an hour and 40 minutes? Every hour and 40 minutes, you're filling this thing up. So, no, hour and 20 minutes, sorry. Hour and 20 minutes, you're filling this up. And so that's the ideal. And usually when I'm starting a new account, I am doing that. Now that I'm kind of wealthy in a lot of these accounts, I'm not doing as much. But if you're wanting to get rich in this game, that's one way to get rich. It's the easiest way to get rich is just to keep your woodworking benches going. Wood is so useful. Planks are so useful. There's a lot of pay-to-win players out there that would be happy to give you really good stuff that they can pay for to trade for a bunch of planks. And so I've seen pay-to-win players do crazy trades. They'll give a ton of purple gear for like 4 massives of planks, stuff that the free-to-play player is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It would have taken me so long to get this stuff, or it's instigator gear, so I don't get it very often, and I don't want to pay for it. And the pay-to-win player is like, yeah, I'll buy you some instigator gear if you make all these planks for me. So having the woodworking and fireplace going near each other is the most important. Having your smelters near the fireplaces is the third most important. So I'd say this combination right here is the most important combination. You want these 3 things. As long as you have these 3 things, you're going to be having a pretty highly functioning base. The 4th most important thing is not the stable. I already talked about the stable. The 4th most important thing is this. Once you get your workbench, which I realize not everyone's going to have your workbench right away. It takes a while sometimes. But once you get your workbench, especially early on, you're going to want some nails, and then you're going to want some iron plates. You don't want to overdo those because sometimes you won't need a ton of them, and you'll need more iron, and you don't want to be like, But I would say you have like 60 to 100 nails if you're very active. 60 to 100 nails and iron plates ready to go. Other than that, just keep everything as iron. If you're not that active, then maybe 20 of each. If you're really not that active, and then if you need something that requires more than that, then you put some iron bars on there. You kind of get it going. But if you're very active and you want to never be slowed down, then 60 to 100 of each of those be stored away. So you'll notice early on as the log storage and the all of these things, I don't know what to say, guys. I just don't like it. I don't like having the crowdedness of having your people running around, and it's not that great of rewards. So I don't do it. And so if you want to know more about how to do a good mining site and use that well, then I guess hopefully someone else will make a video on it. But I just don't do it. I don't know. I don't like it. It's not worth it to me. I'd rather just go mine my own basic resources. They don't give good resources. The stone cutter's table is extremely important for a free-to-play player. If you're half and half, you don't even have to worry about it. Like, you're gonna pay-to-win players, or even just normal players that spend a little bit of money, are gonna have more stone blocks than they know what to do with. So, but if you're a free-to-play player, you need this. You need your stone cutters working constantly. So put them right next to your woodworking bench and just keep it going constantly. And the engineering table is not something you need to go constantly. In fact, it drains some really good resources, so you don't want to do it unless you need like stun traps. Stun traps is the main thing. Sometimes stun hammers are things that you'll make in the engineering table. Other than that, I just keep my most valuable items in there that I want to keep from people raiding, because you can keep up to 80 items that people can't raid from you in your engineering table, in each engineering table. So getting 2 of those is 160 items. The meat dryer, honestly, ever since they changed the game, food is just not that important in this game. You really don't need it a whole lot. You're gonna have a lot. It's good to get a meat dryer, and turn in some jerkies. The most effective way to satiate your hunger. But I wouldn't even necessarily build 2 of them. Like, you just don't need it that much. Whereas the tanning rack, did I skip that? No, not yet. Rain catcher is almost worthless. It's very important in the first 2 days of playing the game, and then after that, you'll never need it again. And so I don't even know if it's worth building. Now that I'm an advanced player, you don't really need it. Where in the world is the tanning rack? There it is. Wow, I don't know how I missed that. The tanning rack is actually pretty useful if you're really active. You kind of want to keep that going. I usually put it next to the meat dryer, because if you killed a bunch of deer, that's the best source of hides. You're probably going to have a lot of meat. Anytime you get hides, you're probably going to get meat. So it's nice to put them together. That helps kind of with the workflow. And then the loom is, man, a lot of these things are so important at first. And then eventually they're not. But I still like the loom. The loom is really helpful for, you want the loom to create bandages. Because bandages is the ultimate PvP item in the game, or healing in the game, and you need cloth and rope. You're going to get a lot of rope, so you're going to want to turn just naturally, so you're going to want to turn that fiber that you get in the zones into cloth and turn them into bandages. There's also other things you can do. Getting heavy cloth is great for crafting certain things. Honestly, the way Frostborn was developed, it used to be like this, I'm going to craft armor. Now, just go get it at Odin's. Go watch my videos on how to do Odin's. You don't really need to craft high-level armor. But that being said, I would still recommend having about 60 to 100 heavy cloth just on hand, and then turning the rest just into cloth, turning it into bandages. The distillery is another thing that used to be so important, and now it's not. Like, health potions suck. You don't ever need to be making health potions. They used to be the most valuable healing item in the game, and now they're not. So I don't even know. I might build one distillery. You need to still build a distillery because you need to make potions. So having the distillery, next to your alchemist table is helpful, because you need to have that alcohol to be able to make that potion. And the alchemist table is a big deal. How do I only have one alchemist table? Okay, I want to go ahead and craft another alchemist table. Put that there. Then I'm going to go ahead and craft a distillery too, because I don't have enough nails. What? Okay, so I actually need a lot of iron plates right now, and so that's why I'm low on nails. I'm going to go ahead and y'all are like, you have not listened to any of your own advice in this video, and that is true. I haven't. So either making potions, you got some awesome combinations here. Like obviously the biggest one is the Dispel Potion. This is a very important potion in this game. If you guys don't know that, then you're new to the game. Dispel Potion is the king of all potions. It is so important for PvP. A serious PvP player doesn't go do PvP without a couple of them, and so you got to be making a lot of them, and so you want to have them available. You want to have it nearby, but you're not going to be constantly making potions unless you're an extremely active player. And if you are, you might need 2 distilleries, but most people are just going to need 1 distillery next to their alchemist table. And that way, when you need some extra alcohol, stick it in there. And then you see the workbench, it's a little bit later on in the game. You need maple, you need copper. It's not an easy workbench to get. It has gotten a lot easier. And then there's the advanced smelter, which I'm going to go ahead and make one of those too. And the advanced smelter is the last one. And then all of these are things that I honestly wouldn't recommend. They're all northern things that you can get. Some of them are okay, but for the most part, they make you turn in valuable items for other items. It's just not really, a lot of them are not really worth it. The cooking pot can be pretty good if you're trying to make the dragon ales. If you're a free-to-play player, you kind of want to go ahead and get a cooking pot so that you can do that for those. But I don't necessarily recommend the other ones. Unless you really like farming a certain one of those. Usually you're trading more valuable items for less valuable. But if you really have a lot of them, a lot of extra ones, then it might be worth it. And then all of these other things are attachments to it. So you got the blacksmith workbench, you build that first, and then you can build these 3 things to unlock more options. And then you got the magic workbench. Obviously, they don't have to be right next to it for it to get its benefit. So if you're going to do one, do them all, but just really the only thing you care about is this one and this one. The rest can be tucked away wherever it looks good or wherever you want to hide it. They really have no function other than to upgrade these 2 right here. Okay, and then lastly, this laboratory does not exist. So it says you can create powerful runes for weapons and armor. They used to have a magic table that lets you create spells. These don't exist. Battle cart, Draker, none of these exist. So, obviously there's no, you can't build it even if you wanted to. So that's it, guys. That is how to organize or the workflow of your base. Sorry, my base is not really that functional right now. This is my 6th account, and ironically, it's the account that I thought I was going to play the least on, and I ended up playing the most on it. But that's the most important thing. So to recap, these 3 are the trifecta of importance. If you're free to play, adding the stone cutters to this. And I'm talking about completely free to play, because if you spend any money, you'll probably have a lot of stone blocks. And so that's the trifecta. Add stone blocks if you're completely free to play. And then this is pretty important to have close to the iron smelting. And then it's optional because you're only going to use it every 3 days, having at least 1 garden next to your stables, and then having a distillery next to your alchemist tables. Other than that, that's going to really be the most. And then the stuff I mentioned in the very beginning, I'm not going to recap all of it about the repair table and entryway and dump chest. If you guys missed that part, then go back and watch the very beginning of the video. So that's it. That's how to have the best workflow. And if you like this video, let me know in the comments. I've got one more idea on organizing your base, and that is using deception techniques to basically throw people off. Like, this chest has all the best stuff in it, and then they open it and it has nothing good, and it kind of discourages them. I have some ideas on that, but only if y'all are like, oh yeah, we want to hear that. And then I'll make a video on that too. All right, guys, see you next time.